My name's Brayden Pearce.
My name's Brendan Morris.
I'm Hannah Forthe.
I'm Wheeler Mitchell.
I'm Barrett Rentz.
And I'm Paulk.
And this is our marketing plan for Oddly Fresh. So what is Oddly Fresh? Oddly Fresh is a produce delivering service that sells cosmetically imperfect foods at a discounted cost that is affordable as well as convenient for every customer or retailer. As you can see, the data on the screen, 72.3% displayed interest in purchasing cosmetically imperfect produce. 53% were interested in imperfect produce to help food waste. 39% was interested in food loss occurs harvesting and packaging. 6, which is us, was founded and agricultural majors passionate about reducing food waste and saving people money. So what are some problems and solutions that can occur? So the first problem is fresh produce never leaving the field because it does not meet the standards for most retailers. Our second problem would be food costs are on the rise, but most households cannot afford fresh produce, whether if that's a family of 2, 3, 5, so on. The more you add, obviously, the more expensive it gets. Our solution, us, Oddly Fresh. We provide farmers with a new avenue to reduce food waste on site and allows individuals to eat healthy and save money. And over here on the right, we have some data from our survey. The first data correlates to problem 1. Did you know that 40 to 60% of produce grown in the U.S. does not make it to market? 72.3% answered no. 27.7% answered yes. The second one also correlates with problem 2. When I buy produce, I'm very price conscious. Obviously, from 1 to 5, 5 being the best or the greatest, 7.2% was first, 8.4% was second, 38.6% said, yes, I pretty much am for the most part. 4, 20.5%, yes, I am. And number 5 was 25.3%, which basically states, heck yeah, I am. Then the last one, I would be open to purchasing cosmetically imperfect produce at a lower price than cosmetically perfect produce. Once again, going from 1 to 5, 5 being the greatest, 1.2% said yes. 1.2% in second said yes. 25.3% in third said yes. 18.1% in 4 said yes. And 54.2% said yes for number 5.
Why choose Oddly Fresh? That's the number one answer everybody wants to know. Why choose us? Why choose us over every other competitor around the market? Well, there's lots of reasons, just a few to name. Well, we're sustainable. So we're starting at everybody wants to make a more green planet. You want to save the planet. You want to do what things right for future generations. Well, we're taking this food waste that would originally be wasted and adding, a little value to this food that would originally be thrown out, repackaging, and educating people. Next thing we're looking at is affordable. I mean, everybody's bottom dollar matters this day and time. Inflation, whatever you got going on, everybody is trying to get the most bang for their buck. So at Oddly Fresh, we're taking this produce, it's cosmetically imperfect, but we're educating people on how we can make it better. How can we educate you on this produce is still, nutritious, it has value. So, we're trying to make people more aware of why this is still important to use and can be used in your home and everyday life. So, and it goes back to our third point, convenience. Everybody wants everything to be convenient. They want it at your fingertips. So Oddly Fresh is doing delivery, and that'll lead to the last point. But, we're getting this produce, we're boxing it. It'll be seasonal, whatever's in season that at that point in the growing season. And we're going to package this up, and we're going to send it to you at your doorstep. You walk out to your door, you grab it, instead of, having to get in the car and drive to the store and whatever. You're saving on gas, time, money, whatever. So, and that leads us to our fourth point. It's healthy. Like I said, there's value being added back to this produce that is more or less said the general public thinks that it's not nutritional. Okay, it has just as much nutritional value as your regular fruits and vegetables, just cosmetically imperfect. And see, that's why we're trying through Oddly Fresh to educate the public on what we need to do. How can we make this product where everybody knows that it's just as nutritious and valuable as the next thing on the shelf. Our next, subscription pricing. So that goes back to value. Your subscription pricing will be $50 a box. You're gonna have this $50, and it will get you whatever's in season. Because we can't promise. We're doing from local growers is where we're sourcing this produce, so it has to be what's in season. So you will get a bar menu drop down on the website. It'll say, hey, this is what's in season, or what's in season. This is what's in season. It'll say XYZ in the box. Then we're going to package it up and send it right to your door. The next thing is frequent deals. So we'll do, like maybe something's getting to the end of its season. We want to get as much of it bought as possible. We're going to take this and say, hey, you buy so many boxes, you get 20% off. Or you buy this many boxes, you get 10% off. We're trying to add value to these boxes before they go out of season and new products are coming in. And that leads us to our last point, free shipping. Everybody loves free. The value added also to this is we're going to allow this to be free shipping, which was helping you out as a consumer, but it also allows you to be, like I said, going back to your value added, it's allowing you to have more value for what you're buying from this product. Now we're going to go right into the SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. So we have a lot of strengths. Our strengths is our biggest point on this adventure that we're taking on. So when we have food waste, we're trying to make the best out of what we have. So we're reducing food waste. They're affordable. Just the list goes on and on. So, we're not perfect by no long shot. No company is perfect, but we're trying to make the best out of what we're getting and what we're giving to the consumer. So then we have some weaknesses. We're a resource. Our limitations are, you only can get from so many producers. So many producers are not going to be on board as far as, you say, hey, I want to come get this produce, and make value added to it and ship it to people that are cosmetically imperfect. Well, some of them may not want to do that. Some of them may say, I do not want any part of this, ask the next person out. So we're kind of limited on our resources. Employee recruitment, this has started out as small, but we foresee a jump in growth as far as the company goes, because we think the more educated the public, the more they'll be willing to buy your product. And we go to distribution limitations. So we're trying, this has also been in the works as we're starting up this, how we're going to distribute this, fruits and vegetables. We're going to do the shipping like we say, but we may venture into stocking it in some of your local produce stands, or whatever, to try to get it more out there to the public. So we're going to move over to our opportunities. Marketing and brand, there's a ton of marketing opportunities to be done with this product just because it's a new thing. There's some companies that do similar stuff. We're kind of unique in what we do. So there's a lot of room for improvement on the marketing side. Untapped segments. So this is kind of a niche market. We're trying to take cosmetically imperfect produce and make it something that you would want to buy twice a month. We're doing bi-monthly, so you get something every other week, so twice a month. So this is kind of a market that we'll be willing to tap into that not many other companies have decided to work with yet. And the population is steady growing, so that leads us to our next point. And we always have to plan for growing population, so we're trying to take this produce and see it's getting more expensive to grow the same amount of produce. So we're trying to take the produce that we have and make the best use out of what we have, instead of, because a lot of your produce doesn't even make it in the market because it's cosmetically imperfect. Emerging trends. Our trends are, it's kind of like we're on social media, so you can find us on any of your social media sites, and we're starting and a lot of these people with your cooking shows and your bloggers, they're really jumping on board with this because they want something that's healthy but also affordable. So we're kind of trying to get the trend going where, hey, let's buy some cosmetically imperfect produce instead of paying full price in store for the same nutritional value at the end of the day. And then our threats. So existing competition, HelloFresh, Misfit Market, all those are competition. I mean, we're talking about, and your local food stands. So they're doing something similar to what we're doing, not exactly the same. So we're having to keep an eye out for competition that's encroaching on what we're doing as well. Customer loyalty competitor, that's where your 20% off and 10% off comes in. We're trying to gain loyalty of different customers throughout this venture that we're doing. We're trying to get people to buy our product instead of going to the bigger companies than, like the rest of them. So negative public perception, that's a big thing. Public perception is all what drives consumer demand. So if the public sees something, they're going to post it on the, whatever social media they have and say, hey, this is not good. We don't want nothing to do with it. But that's why through education, through all these social media posts that we'll be doing, we're going to educate and let people know that this is still just as nutritious, and maybe if we can get one person convinced, we can get 10 people convinced, and then 100 people convinced. So that's kind of where we're leading with public perception. And our last point is supplier inconsistency. So weather, disease, insects, they all have to do with inconsistency, and then we might have a hurricane that'll affect the supply chain. So we can't exactly rely on what they're going to get us. So we have to have multiple sources to grab our products from. So we may not have something one month because a hurricane came through and knocked out their crop. It knocked out the good stuff and the cosmetically imperfect. So we're kind of looking at a different scenario there, and people are having to learn about how, and this also is giving us the opportunity to educate on how farms work and how seasons come in and they come and go, because a lot of people just think it comes up at the store and it just shows up there. They don't know how the seasons of a produce farm work. So
I'm going to walk you through our competitor analysis and some of our differentiation from our competitors. So there are two kind of more direct competitors that we have, and that's Imperfect Foods and Misfit Markets. Both of those are food subscription services that offer cosmetically imperfect foods, but they offer all of your standard grocery products with less options in the produce section. As far as differentiation from those is concerned, you can think of it like you can go to Walmart and you can buy a fishing rod, or you can go to a fishing store and buy a D-rod that you want. And then we have Farmer Brown's is an example of a market that's local to us. That's a farmer's market, and you obviously have produce available there. And then traditional markets, and that's Publix, Walmart, Aldi, all those that sell fresh produce. For the sake of time, we just looked at Publix. So those are examples of our competitors. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about market segmentation. So the main market that we decided to target was budget-friendly and busy adults. Essentially, that's working professionals from the ages of 18 to 60. Approximate income range of 40,000 plus. That gives you enough disposable income to afford a subscription service like this, but it's still well under the average median household income. Our location is obviously southeastern United States. That's where we're going to have to start, and all of our expansion efforts are going to be focused in that location. The occupation and lifestyle is any working or stay-at-home individual. So really, everybody eats produce. Everybody is a potential customer. The main shopping behaviors that we're going to target are those who are price conscious and ingredient aware, and those who want health benefits from their food. Our values, the three core values that we identified, are simplicity, affordability, and offering whole foods. And the pain points of our target market are confusing labels and high prices. I mean, really the economy is the main driving factor with wanting affordable produce, and that's the predominant pain point that we're trying to address. The main media channels that we've identified for targeting our market are TV, social media, print ads, and blogs. And that's what we're going to use to target that market. Now I'm going to speak a little bit about our additional segmentation. So we started off with U.S. population census data. Between the ages of 18 and 60, there are 171 million individuals. In the southeastern region, that's approximately 22% of those individuals, and that gives us 37,600,000. And then we used our customer research survey data to narrow it down even further. Those who were interested in food delivery services like Oddly Fresh was approximately 13.3%, and that gives us 5 million. And then those who answered yes to they would use our service was approximately 77%, and that's 3.8 million. And then our 1% conservative year estimate gives us a serviceable, obtainable market of 38,500 individuals.
Alrighty. I'm going to be moving on to Oddly Fresh's marketing goals, objectives, and key performance indicators. Like any new company, you're going to want to put your brand out there, build off the name, and have it known and trusted. So our first goal is going to be building brand awareness. Our objective is to achieve at least a 40% increase in recognition among our target audience within the first 6 months through social media expansion and television advertisement. Some of our key performance indicators down below. We hope to get at least 5,000 social media impressions per month across all social media platforms, and at least 1,000 visits to our website following any television ad within the first 10 minutes of it airing. And then our second goal is going to be enhancing brand loyalty and advocacy. Our objective here is obtaining 700 loyal customers and advocates within our first year through referral programs, providing discounts, and especially encouraging customer testimonials. We'd like to get that feedback on what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. Some of our key performance indicators here. We aim to maintain a customer satisfaction score of at least 80% or more within our first year. And going along with our customer testimonials previously, we want to increase our overall customer reviews by 40% while still maintaining a 4+ star review. All right, so we're going to be moving into our 4 Ps. We got our product, place, price, and promotion. As you heard before, we're selling fresh but aesthetically imperfect produce while still being 100% edible, 100% nutritious, and still being affordable. Our place, we are an online subscription service. You go online, customize whatever kind of box you want, and we ship it to your doorstep for free. As far as pricing, with a subscription service comes subscription pricing. And as far as competitive rates go, we're typically lower than the standard supermarket rate because we're selling aesthetically imperfect produce, but all the same, nutritious, edible. And promotion, like we said in the previous slide, we want to expand through all social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and television advertisements, direct email. We also want to get into partnering with influencers on these social media websites, such as food bloggers, chefs, nutritionists, people of that sort.
So up next we have numbers, which is what everyone wants to see when you're starting up a new business is it going to be profitable? So here we have our marketing expenses. You see here that we're going to do print advertising, social media, TV advertising, and influencer partnerships, as we just discussed. those values either increase based on how well we expect them to do or decrease or stay the same if we don't think that it will be an avenue for us to continue down with advertisement. For example, the website, to start up a website is the most expensive cost. You have to pay more to get your website going, to get your information on it and set up correctly. So we tapered off the cost on the website by year 3, since we're no longer, the website's established by that point. Moving on down, we have our packaging costs. We figured these out by going in and finding the size package that we wanted to use. We then took our package sales estimates and figured out our packaging costs. And then salaries. The salaries increase because we intend to hire more employees the more that we go to sell. So each year our goal is to obviously sell more produce, sell more boxes, get the word out there more, and so we'll need more employees to do that. And then our direct mail for those who don't have the social media outlets, that sort of thing, to also see what we are doing and to get our word out to them. And then at the bottom there you can see the total for our marketing expenses, which will roll over to our income statement. So here we have our income statement. Our packages sold in year 1 were based off of our serviceable obtainable market of that 38,500. We took that and did a base case conversion rate of 2% to get us 770 possible customers that year. And then we multiplied that by 26 packages. So our subscription is bi-weekly. Obviously there's 52 weeks in a year, so we're expecting customers to subscribe and purchase bi-weekly, which is 26. So we took that number and multiplied to get our year 1. Our year 2 was a 3% conversion rate, and then in year 3 we jumped to a 5% conversion rate, which would ultimately be like our best case. That could be obtained in year 1, but we don't see that happening. So then you go on down, we have our gross revenue from just the packages we sell. We figured out our cost of goods sold by taking our gross revenue and giving back to the farmer 10 cents of everything we make. So that's what they're getting back from allowing us to use their produce that would typically go to waste, because they have to have some sort of incentive to use us, to give us their produce. Because yes, we're being sustainable, it's more environmentally friendly, but also it's more of a hassle to the farmer, so we do want to give back to them in some way. And then you see again we have some of our operating expenses that included those marketing expenses you saw. And years 1 through 3 we see a profit each year and an increase in profit.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about building brand awareness, and with that we're going to achieve a stronger social media presence via the Facebook, Instagram, TV advertisements, and we're also going to try to get in with vloggers that do with food to hopefully increase by 40% using social media. And then after that, we're going to enhance the brand loyalty. We're going to try to obtain 350 loyal customers by month 6, which would be, I don't know the math, but it's a bunch of produce sold. And every 6 months, we're going to try to obtain another 350, or either increase that number up to upwards of 400 to 500 every 6 months. And then we're going to gather product feedback using social media platforms and surveys. We will make surveys, and we want our customers to tell us what they want us to fix and what they want to be better to make their packages better to fit them. And then we're going to implement product improvements. We're going to use customer reviews to implement 2 new product improvements. Monitor customer satisfaction based on new implements. So with their feedback, we're going to try to do new product, maybe different size boxes, different products in the boxes over time. And then this is, in conclusion, we're going to choose Oddly Fresh. We're safe, affordable, sustainable, convenient, and we're a good way to shop for produce and stay healthy. Even though we are imperfect foods, we're still healthy and just as nutritious as the other perfect produce stated earlier. And then you'll save your money and time. You don't have to go to the grocery store. We come right to you, so it makes it easy for you, and we're a lot more affordable than most other produce. And then shop sustainably, help reduce food wasted on our website is our goal in general, is to help get rid of imperfect produce that is getting thrown out and use it elsewhere. And then don't judge a book by its cover, even its produce. Shop Oddly Fresh. Any questions? All right, so we're going to educate our consumers. First of all, we'll probably maybe do like instructional videos overall, like showing the produce, showing nutritional value in good produce, and then imperfect produce, showing that they're very similar in many ways. And then using social media to spread that word. If y'all have anything else to add on.
I agree, just using social media to improve bars within those boxes. We discuss recipe bars at one time to give people ideas of, hey, this is the produce you're getting, this is what you make out of it.
Maybe post pictures as well of the recipes personally, that customers made for that we can make this catch the human eye and saying, hey, that's trustworthy, hey, that looks good, and we'll give it a shot. So along with the social media platform that we talked about those benefits as well.
Yeah, that goes along with like the food vloggers we're trying to get in with. We want them to be able to show the product in their channels, and a lot of people that use those vloggers will be like, this food is good to use, it's safe, it's same as the other, same value.
That's just what the grower is getting in general. That is what they're being paid for their produce. So typically this produce that we're getting is produce that they would throw back in the field and kill into the dirt or give to the neighbor's cows or whoever. So like I said, yes, it is an extra hassle for them, so we do want to give them back something. In my research, I saw where it's 15 or 20 cents typically, like when grocery stores order from farmers, they get back that much. So since we are not the perfect produce, they're still getting back some, just not as much as they would.
It's covering their houses, it's covering their labors for picking and all that.
So is it like 10 cents per pound or per unit? Per pound. Okay.
So we figured in this product when we started, we said, let's run some numbers. So this is the free shipping is kind of the gimmick of reeling the consumer in on, they're going to get there and say, well, I have to pay for shipping. Well, everybody knows that shipping is going to cost, with a product this size and how much they're going to weigh, is not going to be, at the end of the day, you'll be spending almost on shipping as you would the product. Well, that makes no sense. Why would you buy the product if you're going to be paying double what it's going to cost? So we ran the numbers, and we came to realize that we can charge, that's how, this all went to factor on when we figured up how much we can charge per box. We figured in that number of how can we charge in order to still offer free shipping but still be profitable in that way. And it's helping you get a consumer in, but it's also making it where you can still charge, because if we charge $50 and then we're going to have to pay, the consumer's going to have to pay another $20 or $30, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Why, if you're going to have to pay that, why not go to the store and buy it full price with no shipping?
Thank y'all.